This is KVUE News Night Beat.
George H.W. Bush back in the hospital the second time this year. We've got the latest on his condition.
Some people reaching out to us about a GoFundMe for Travis County ESD equipment. Is it legitimate? We answer your questions.
And forget the red carpet. KVUE gets up close and personal with stars from HBO's hit show Silicon Valley, premiering here in Austin tonight.
Right now at 10, former President George H.W. Bush is back in the hospital tonight.
It's the second time this year for the 41st president. His spokesman says the 92-year-old was admitted to Houston Methodist on Friday for a persistent cough that prevented him from getting rest.
The senior Bush has a mild case of pneumonia and will remain in the hospital under observation. Now, this is a photo from his trip to the same hospital in January. That time, he had a serious case of pneumonia that landed him in the ICU.
We'll, of course, keep you updated if his condition changes on KVUE.com.
So every year, police officers from across the state climb on their bicycles and ride to every city that lost an officer that last year.
Today, they were joined by APD officers for a brief ride down 8th Street to honor Officer Amir Abdul Khalik. He died in the hospital last September after being hit by a car while providing a funeral escort.
The Night Beat's Jason Puckett is live at APD headquarters, where bikers held a ceremony for him. Jason, tell us what it was like out there tonight.
Well, Quita and Mike, you'll remember last year there was a ceremony for Officer Abdul Khalik, but today was a bit different. 4 officers out of a much larger group rode from Corpus Christi here to Austin today. They tell us last year's ceremony was for the community. Today's was for the brotherhood. Here's a look.
We go around the state every year on bicycles. We're riding to every city and to every community that has lost a peace officer from the previous year.
The memorial is going to honor APD fallen officer Amir Abdul Khalik.
I hope that you never forget what your dad meant to us, to this community, and to this profession.
We lose a lot more in that community, and we want to convey to them that that person, that their loved one in that community has not been lost.
Every cadet that passes through our training academy will know your dad. They will know his sacrifice. They will know his name, and his legacy will live on.
That their loved one's life, their loved one's legacy, their loved one's force in that community is not going to be forgotten. It's not going to be left behind.
Those 4 officers you saw were riding west here down 8th Street. Tomorrow, they tell me, they will go even further west on a 2,300-mile trek all around the state to let any community who's lost an officer know that they won't be forgotten. For now, here live at APD, I'm Jason Puckett, KVUE News, Night Beat.
Jason, thank you. And quite a few people talking about the fast food worker who helped track down an accused Facebook killer. Police say a McDonald's employee in Pennsylvania recognized Steve Stevens when he ordered at the drive-thru. That employee told him the fries weren't ready yet to stall him, while another worker called 911. While Pennsylvania police were chasing him, Stevens shot himself. He's accused of killing an elderly man and uploading that video to Facebook. His account has been disabled and the video no longer public.
Areas near Houston today handling flooding after some severe weather. This is in Santa Fe in Galveston County. Several homes and cars flooded. Homeowners woke up to several inches of standing water in their homes. Not the case here. We're taking a look at downtown with our tower camera right now. No heavy rain in the forecast overnight, but some patchy fog could hang around for the morning commute. Chief Meteorologist Albert Ramon has what we're tracking. Hey, Albert.
Yeah, Mike, light winds, a lot of humidity. You could feel it this afternoon. That's going to allow for the development of fog overnight. Right now, all is quiet on Max Storm Doppler radar. Most spots here in central Texas reporting mid to upper 60s. The exception, Austin, LaGrange, both at 70 degrees. Here's the reason why the Houston area saw so much rainfall. Area of low pressure sitting over our eastern counties. And because we're still pretty close to that area of low pressure, we're going to keep in some low-end rain chances, not only for tomorrow, but even a spotty shower possible by Thursday. we're ready to get rid of this humidity and cool temperatures down a bit. And we've got some good news with our next front in the 7-day forecast that's coming up.
We need that good news. Thank you, Albert. And we're doing something here at KVUE called Verify. There's so much information these days, and we want to help you figure out what you can really trust. To do that, we're being transparent about our process, telling you up front who our sources are, putting the facts in your hands. Today on Twitter, someone reached out to us asking about a GoFundMe page for Travis County Emergency District Services 1. It says the department needs help raising money for equipment. Now, people are asking if this GoFundMe is for real, so the Night Beat's Brandon Jones went to verify it. Brandon?
Well, Quita, to get the answer to this one, we went straight to the Travis County ESD #1 Chief Donnie Norman. Now, one of the red flags that was raised is that the department just want an overlay to double their tax base to run paramedic response. Now, Chief Norman says, yes, that is true. People did vote to allow the department to double the tax rate, but the chief doesn't know if that will happen because it still has to be finalized. The GoFundMe is raising money to get equipment right now versus waiting for that funding, which could take months. Another question we received, some cardiac monitors only cost $15,000. So why is the department fundraising $100,000? Well, Chief Norman says that $15,000 is simply a low number. Generally, monitors are about $3,000 more, and that's not the only equipment they need. Chief Norman says they also need medication and equipment for ambulances, which can run as high as $50,000. And lastly, some of you wanted to know why the department is doing this on the heels of a 100% ESD tax increase. Well, Chief Norman says he wanted to put it in the hands of the people to decide, i.e. a GoFundMe page. So guys, we can verify tonight that this GoFundMe page is in fact real.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. Now, is there something that you want our Verify team to check out? A story that you've seen that you're not sure about, or maybe some video you can't quite believe is real? Well, you can post on our Facebook page or tweet using the hashtag KVUE Verify. Bathrooms and Airbnbs in sharp focus as lawmakers enter the final 6 weeks of the legislative session. The Senate passed a bill today dealing with houses rented out short-term on websites like HomeAway and Airbnb. The measure lets cities regulate those rentals, but they cannot ban them. And tomorrow, a House committee will take up a revision of the so-called bathroom bill. It keeps cities and school districts from creating policies regulating bathrooms in order to prevent having a patchwork of rules across the state. An APD officer out of a job and his boss in trouble as well. Officer Michael Cuellar is accused of coming to work last fall while under the influence. Police realized it after he performed a breathalyzer on himself as part of required certification to operate the machine, according to department records. His sergeant, Steve Urias, has been suspended for 60 days for not properly handling the incident or alerting anyone else. A suspension memo says he faces termination if he violates any policies in the next year. The search is on for two masked men who robbed two pizza shops, one right after the other. The images are not great, but here they are, taken from security systems. San Marcos police say the two guys first robbed a Pizza Hut at around 11:30 Sunday night, and then just after midnight they held up a Domino's. At least one of the suspects was carrying a gun.